All right, everybody. So here we are back again, a new year around the Discord. So our defending champion is here, still snapping next, just getting off a fresh win on Warzone as well. So he's able to come in here. We've got US Bobber back. Ender is back full time. He took the time off. I'm pretty sure that's why he thinks you won, Snapping, is because he wasn't around. And of course, Shadow is a two-time champion as well. Bobber, have you won yet?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up in my
All right, so with that,
what was that?
with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in to the first topic here, and we're going to start with you, Shadow. Call of Duty, COD Warzone. It's a mess with Vanguard, Caldera. What has gone wrong with COD Warzone?
They just everything that you could possibly think bug-wise has come back. Basically, they've completely ruined that game. They try to do, I would say, too much with too little at the same time. I think their development team kind of suffered on that because they try to push out a game being through COVID-19 and everything. They forcing an uphill fight pretty much the entire game. You put in planes into a game that doesn't need them, and then you can't even get your guns right, you can't get your graphics right or any of that. Like, it looks like PUBG did at the beginning when you're jumping out of a plane half the time. Putty buildings and everything else. PUBG looks better than it does right now, actually.
For sure. All right, we'll kick it over to you, US Bobber. You're a big fan of this, and it's been heartbreaking for you. What is your take? What happened here?
The wheels have come off the train. It was a train wreck. It's been a train wreck. I mean, they can't even get, they had a major update. They still haven't fixed anything, it feels like. Every single final circle, someone's fighting uphill, everyone's fighting downhill, and that determines the winner. Like, it just sucks. The guns are still walking around like they've got giant cinder blocks in the middle of them. The buildings aren't coming in correctly. They just keep screwing it up. And there's a reason why they left Rebirth Island the way it has, and it's because it's the only damn thing in that game right now that actually works.
All right, we're going to kick it over to you, Snappin'. What has gone now? Now, I know all of you love Call of Duty, so it's kind of heartbreaking. What happened? What's gone wrong with Caldera? What's the deal?
I don't think they really have anything going on that's too wrong with it. It all seems pretty fine to me. I'm catching a lot of wins, so I can't really complain, just sitting back. And I don't know if it's like someone came over from the Halo team, someone came over from the Battlefield team, or it's like, I'm saying, like, they infiltrated, maybe just got the job just for the, just so they could go in and wreck it all, right? I think that's maybe what happened, because someone must have went in, because I've never ran into so many hackers in my life, which is saying a lot for this game than this last week. Like, every match. Damn near every match is a hacker.
But they have Ricochet.
So you just made the point of how bad everything is. Their own anti-cheat doesn't work.
Exactly. And so someone infiltrated in. They are selling it off, because I know a company is like as well off as Activision. All the good people that work there, they're all class acts. They would never make a bunch of money off of selling that. Like, their history just doesn't show that. So I know it's not them doing it from the inside. So I just, we need
a mute button.
Shoot, Raven, hold on. Raven comes out every other day now if you follow him on Twitter, and it's like, hey, yeah, we noticed this issue. We're gonna fix it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're working on it. It's like, how did you knew that was gonna be an issue? They're like, man, we dropped way too much money over Caldera.
Hang on.
Put it back.
Anytime your anti-cheat is Ricochet, which, by the way, a Ricochet is something you never want. There's no kill shot. It's a Ricochet, which means it bounces off, which is, and that's their anti-cheat. Hey, we tried, but it didn't work. Sorry.
All right, Ender, your take on this.
There's nothing else to be said. Like, they have failed in every way. They haven't come through. Whether or not it was COVID related or what happened, nothing is good about the game. The map wasn't any better. Again, everyone said it already. Uphill fights, downhill fights. The problem with the uphill downhill fights is the only thing in between is a bunch of bushes that you can't see anybody in. You have to actively live ping every bush around the map to make sure no one's inside of it. Like, that's terrible in its own right. So I have dropped it. Now I will give you Snappin'. Someone from Battlefield came over, But don't be messing with Halo over there. Halo's running perfectly fine. No issues. It's the best game out there right now. I think we'll get into the Battle Royale thing a little later, but right now, for competitive play, I mean, Halo's where it's at right now.
All right, next topic, and we're going to stick with you, Ender, on this. Spider-Man. Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie, as far as the multiverse and how they handled it, did they handle it properly?
I mean, anytime you start getting into the multiverse and things like that, and for me, time travel, multiverse, things get confusing. Like, it starts getting weird. You get plot holes that open up in different places. I think they did a decent job with the way they did this one, because I think they opened it up for you to bring back some of the older actors from beginning movies that really weren't part of it to be part of it as well. So I think you could see some of that come back. It'd be cool to see some of like the old X-Men come in and things like that you would have the actors that you know. But other than that, I mean, I think they handled it the best you could. I hate the whole multiverse issue. I just, okay, cool. You got two of them. Just give me a good movie. I don't really care.
All right, Bobber, your take. Did they do a good job opening this up to the basic audience?
The problem is the multiverse requires like a small dissertation or a thesis paper to be able to explain why all these things are happening. But all I'm hoping for is if we could get Ed Norton back as Hulk at some point, I'll throw my hands up and like, way to go, MCU, way to go out on a ledge.
Wow. All right, Snappin', what about you, sir?
Man, Spider-Man, the way they handled it, I don't know if it really matters. I mean, I don't need to be everything to make sense in all these other universes and be, like they're completely different series with different companies making them throughout all the years. It doesn't have to be make sense. Like, just tell the nerds like, hey, this other company made it. It's all like, oh, it's not canon. Don't worry about it. It's just a little different. Either like it or don't watch it. It's all fine. Like, don't need to hear them all crying all the time about, this making sense. So I think that's the real question. Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter regardless.
Fan service, as long as people are happy, right?
Exactly.
Shadow, your take on
$250,000 opening weekend.
Real quick, Jay.
That's what I'm saying.
Theorem you're talking about is called multiverse theorem. Is actually the proper title for that. For your thesis.
Oh, sorry. the proper vetted title for it.
It's multiverse theorem.
I hate when I have to agree with Snap in there. No one gives a crap.
No. Y'all may not give a crap, but they did a really good job with this because it really allows them to bring back Andrew Garfield, maybe, because now people want to see him in another movie. And now you can throw him in the same timeline with Tom Hardy's Venom and have them in the same universe and be the same thing now. And
almost to Snappin's point,
really opened it up.
It's okay that it doesn't make sense sometimes because it opens up.
It does, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't mind seeing some of the older actors back, like he was saying, but what they did there with the one more day, like with Doctor Strange instead of Mephisto, because now you can go and act like that happened in Tobey Maguire's One More Day, and he actually loses Mary Jane that way because of the forgetting and everything that happens. Gotcha. So you can do so much stuff with that now because they opened that up.
All right, next topic. We're going over Bob Saget. Unfortunately, very sad, Bob Saget has passed away. He was known as America's Dad. Still snapping necks. Your take, was he truly America's dad? Did you always look at Bob Saget as the TV's America's Dad?
Heck no. He raised 2 kids with the help of 2 other dudes, Joey and what was the other, Jesse, and then he had Stephanie too help him raise 2 kids. Wow, great job. He worked at a news place, right? So he's working an hour a day? News show's like an hour. It's always working. I mean, get at it. You go over here and you got, who's that? Philip Banks. He raised 3 kids, right? He was a full-time judge. He took his punk nephew straight from Philly that was up to no good, raised him too. I mean, you're looking at, there's a lot of other dads out there doing a lot of things. I'm just saying, like Al Bundy, He was a shoe salesman. Provided a two-star. He was killing. He was better than him. I mean, Walter White did more for his family. Little shit of a family.
All right, Ender, your take on Bob Saget.
My take on Bob's. It's been completely changed. I agree with everything. You gotta go with. I mean,
he's ruined it for all of you.
He ruined it for me. No, I mean, the cool thing about like the whole thing was for me is I watched him as a kid on the first show. Then he went to America's Funniest Home Videos, and then as I grew up, I got into his stand-up and his comedy. So like through my entire span, I enjoyed a lot of the stuff that he was doing. But Snappin said it best. There's a lot of other better dads. Like, are we actually looking at that? I mean, hell, I'll take Will Smith over.
Shadow.
Fresh Prince is my show, man. Let's go.
Shadow, your take was Bob Saget truly America's dad?
So I didn't really grow up with the original show he was on. I grew up with him. America's Funniest Home Videos is when I first really got into him. So I didn't really get to see him much until then. So I don't like, and I did watch Fresh Prince a lot. So I kind of have to agree with Snappin on that one too. That's such a good show. I don't know if I agree with the Al Bundy part as much. I like the show, but God, was he kind of an ass.
Didn't he have 3 touchdowns in one game? I mean,
he did.
He was the closest to the American father.
Yeah,
the true American dad.
All right, Bob.
I'm sure he's in the. Al Bundy's got to be in the Polk High Hall of Fame at this point.
Bobber, your take, America's Dad, was it Bob Saget?
You know what? For the time period, it absolutely was. I understand that, we've got, the Fresh Prince, and we've got all these other shows and stuff, but it was really interesting because it was the first time a sitcom had really showed a single dad and how that dad needed help, and then how it brought the family together. Then obviously it's 90s sitcom, so it was always, hey, we've got a problem, 10 minutes to solve it, and then we all hug at the end because we solved it. It was pretty formulaic, but man, the fact that he was a single dad doing it, and then the evolution of his career with America's Funniest Home Videos, which really, let's be honest, it was YouTube before YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes into his movie career. We were talking about it earlier. Half Baked, Dave Chappelle, he's sucking dick for coke. I mean, it really showed like the whole arc of his entire life. And then, you're right. He did the roasts. He did all these other things. I got introduced to his adult comedy, which, by the way, is rated R comedy, but it is hilarious. And it was really touching to see all these other celebrities come out and say how much of a great person he was at the end, which, kind of made all of those feelings kind of come back and really kind of prove like, okay, cool. It's all right to be okay with him and, his place in the cinematic landscape, I guess.
Absolutely. All right. So now we're moving on to buy or sell. This is kind of quick topics that we're going to go through. You just say yes or no, whether you buy into what we're saying or you sell it. So we're going to start with you, Snappin. Buy or sell that Halo Infinite needs a battle royale. And this is mainly to the does it necessarily need it to survive? That's not where we're going at. Does it need it if it wants to thrive with the Fortnites and the Call of Duties of the world? If it wants to be on top, does it need a battle royale?
That's tough. I'm gonna have to sell. I don't think it does. It's got such a cult following. It was the first best shooter, I think. Take out some of those old ones on Nintendo 64, those, but GoldenEye and that. But if you look at everything else, I mean, for years they were the top dog, and all those guys are a lot of us nerd dads now that are going to go back and keep playing it forever. And then, we're passing on our kids. They want to play what dad's playing. And it's a cool new look still. Like, I think they upgraded everything now, so it looks cool. I don't think they need it at all. But I think if they do bust it out, it'll get the other guys that have never played it to jump on just because they want to try to, take a crack at it. And I mean, any free to play like that's going to just bring a boatload of people. So.
Absolutely. All right, Shadow, your take on this. Buy or sell, Halo Infinite needs a battle royale.
I don't say Halo Infinite needs a battle royale because the game's pretty much perfect as is. Like, the campaign's gorgeous. Love the free world campaign and would really like to see the expansion on that. Multiplayer plays really good. I'd like to see some more ranked in there. That's about it. Like, some more different types of ranked. Other than that, if they do bring a battle royale, don't put it under the Infinite name. Put it a Halo battle royale separate, completely separate from Infinite.
Bobber, your take on this?
I'm buying it, and the only reason why is because Halo right now needs to drop the hammer on these other Royale games. You've got Battlefield, sucking ass. You've got Call of Duty, sucking ass. Like, there's isn't a really good one out there right now. And if Halo could really capitalize on the fact that these other major AAAs, Fortnite usership's down. If they could capitalize on these other AAAs kind of hitting that lull, I think they could absolutely slaughter the competition and really become the premier game. And the nice thing is what we're complaining about with Call of Duty is the crappy graphics, the crappy interface. Like, it just doesn't feel right. All of those things have already been solved with Halo Infinite. And if they just keep that chassis and then put it into a battle royale element, I think they'd have a almost a knockout blow against some of these other ones.
Absolutely. Ender, your take on this?
Yeah, I'm buying it. I think they need a battle royale. I'm buying and selling it. I think Infinite is fine the way it is for what they do. Like, I would definitely sell that. You're not going to need to change it. Your shooter is perfect the way it is. It plays well. It moves well. The campaigns they know how to do. But if they want to be the top, they need to be the top in the streaming world as well. And they're not. They're way down there on the list. Go look for Infinite on the list of top streaming stuff. It's way down there because the battle royales land all the streaming. So if they bring that battle royale out, and I think the game plays perfectly for that. Think of all the vehicles, all the weapons, the grappling, the moving around that you have, like the battle royale fights. You almost have that. They would be competing right away and just blowing them out of the water because everyone else is struggling right now with it, except for Apex. And if you look at it, I think that would be their competition. It would be Halo and Apex for the movement, the way the game moves. And for someone like me, I'm not going to Apex because I don't like hero-based games. So now they're the top shooter for competition, and they could be the top shooter for Battle Royale. They're going to just take it over at that point.
All right, next one, and we're going to start with you, Shadow. PUBG. Buy or sell PUBG will get back on top going free to play. As we know today, PUBG's always been a premium game. So it was kind of what launched the Battle Royales to what they are. And of course, they were on top of the world. No one could touch them. Blackout got kind of close, and Apex came and took over the stream world for a little bit. And then Warzone hit. And of course, that's been at the top for a while. Apex and Warzone and Fortnite have kind of ran the top. Now with PUBG switching to free to play, buy or sell that this is going to get it back on top with the three bigs.
I don't see it getting them back on top. I do see a ramp in incoming players, but I don't see it going back on top. Yes, you're getting a free to play. You're going to get some more players coming in, but some of those streamers that have already left, they're not coming back. They're on Apex. They're playing Fortnite still. They're playing Call of Duty still. They're not coming back to PUBG because there's not really an audience for it anymore.
Ender, your take.
Yeah, it's not going to come back as number one. I think it'll get into probably the mid range, number 4 or 5 out there. I agree with Shadow. There's just no market for it now. I think your hardcore gamers that love the Battle Royale are going to go and play it. I'll go back and play it. I think while Call of Duty's down, I'll go play it. But once Modern Warfare 2 comes out, I'll be back over there with whatever new thing they come out with, and PUBG will be a side game. Like, I'm good with Halo right now. Like, at the end of the day, I'll just keep playing Halo until Call of Duty fixes their stuff or comes out with a new one.
Snapping, moving on to you. Buy or sell that PUBG can get back to the top, going free to play.
Oh, man, I'm selling. I don't think it'll reach the top. I think they will get a nice big spike going up once it does go free to play. I'm sure there'll be a couple streamers that pop over there, and their whole audience will start playing it too if they're not already. And but I think the main thing they're going to have to do is change a lot of their pacing, some of the movement, things like that. But that might be down the road. But at this point, the way they got it, I don't think it's going to matter. It's going to stay. They'll get that spike, and then it's going to peter out.
Bobber, I know you're a new player over on PUBG. What's your take on this going free to play and getting a spike and being at the top of the streaming world again?
So I think PUBG is going to be like your first crush that we dated all throughout high school. You went to college, you went your separate ways, and now you're back in town. You look at it, you might take it out a couple of times, you might smash it a couple times for old time's sake, but man, I'm on to them college girls. I'm moving on to something else. I don't think it'll get back to being as popular as it was by any stretch of the imagination. But definitely, I think you're going to get with the free to play, you're going to get a big bump. You're going to get some interest. You're going to get some nostalgia. But I think as soon as one of the big three kind of figure their mess out, or Halo Infinite announces their battle royale, I think it'll be on to the college girls, and PUBG will be just sitting over there, and you kind of say hi to it on Facebook every once in a while.
All right, moving on. Ender, we're going to go over to you. Buy or Sell, the new Rainbow Six Extraction game is coming to Xbox Game Pass. Now, a lot of people are saying, whoa, red flag, another premium game launching day and date with Game Pass that's not a Microsoft first-party title. Does that mean a lot of people are saying it's going to be a flop? So buy or sell that it's a flop because it's releasing on Game Pass on day one? That Ubisoft already knows that it's not a good game.
No, I'm going to sell that. I don't think it has anything to do with it coming out on the Game Pass. I think there's a lot of backdoor deals and money exchanging hands and reasons why games are going to go on the Game Pass. My biggest thing is I think it kills Ubisoft Plus. Like, I don't really have a reason to get that subscription anymore for those games if they're going to put their AAA titles right onto Game Pass. So I don't think it kills it. I'm not super excited about it. I don't even think the trailers look that great right now. So
Got you.
It's good, great. If it's bad, it didn't cost me anything. So I don't really care.
Buy or sell that Ubisoft knows this game isn't that good, and that's why they are putting it on Game Pass.
I think they do know that it's not going to sell the same. A lot of them back in the day, they didn't get they got the initial sales and then people dropped off, which they already made their money, so it doesn't matter. Now it's more of like you got the packages, the skins and everything to buy and use now. But I don't know. Like you said, I think there is a lot of backdoor deals. They probably got a nice little cut for that. And it might open up to more players jumping on it because they're another one with a cult following that's going to, keep playing their game no matter how trash it is or isn't. So I don't know. I think they do. I think they know to some degree that it's going to fail, but I know they're going to, they're still going to get a bunch of play out of it. So,
Bobber, your take on this? Buy or sell? They know it's a flop, and that's why they're putting it on the Game Pass.
I don't think it matters anymore if they think a game's going to flop. I mean, look at just the Call of Duty game that we're just dealing with. Like they couldn't have known that was going to be, or excuse me, they could have. I mean, play it and it sucks. We're going to release it anyway. Screw it. Battlefield. Screw it. Release it anyway. Like they've constantly releasing these terrible games. I don't think it has anything to do with whether or not they think it's going to be good. I think it has everything to do with the deals that are being done in the back end. Absolutely right. I think that, it's going to kill their streaming service. And I think this might just be the white flag game where they just start walking away from their own streaming and their own titles and their own subscription. And they just go exclusively with the PlayStation, the Xbox passes. And they tried to do it their way. It failed. And they're just waving the white flag. And this is the first main title that's kind of that indicator that they're just done.
All right, Shadow, your take on this?
I think Microsoft, mainly this is a Microsoft power play to get rid of the Ubisoft streaming service, really. They go ahead and make that deal on there, get their next first title right there on Gaming Pass. Just go ahead and do away with that streaming service. You just bring your stuff to us and we'll make you money.
Well, they are launching at the same time. They are bringing Ubisoft Plus to the Xbox.
Just watch. You'll see. But even if Ubisoft Plus hits on Xbox, it's going to be like EA Play. EA Play is now part of Game Pass.
Correct, yeah.
It's literally one and the same now. But I don't think they think it's a flop. They got money. Microsoft was like, hey, you see what we're doing over here? We got you.
Sure. All right, final topic.
They're separate menus.
Some people get eliminated. Final topic here. The PSVR 2. It's the new VR system by PlayStation. But again, just like the first one where you needed a PS4, you need your PS5 to play it. So with things like Oculus and the PC world having their own VRs that you do have to hook up to a PC, this you have to hook up to a PS5. But buy or sell, this won't be successful because you also need a PS5 to play it. Shadow, go ahead.
I don't think it's going to be as successful as what they think it is because you're going to have to buy a $600 system and then turn right back around and buy a $300 VR headset. Yeah, I don't think people are going to buy it for that. The people that are going to buy it are your Sony fanboys that have been there forever. They already got their PS5. They got it fucking day one. So Yeah, I don't think you're going to get it, Jake, because I don't think you're that into it. You're already on the Xbox team anyways. But I
right.
do see your fanboys coming and buying it.
Gotcha, for sure. Bobber, go ahead.
Oh man, it's not going to fail because you need a PS5. It's going to fail because it's fucking virtual reality. It
I mean,
has
their
nothing
first one,
to do with
their PlayStation VR sold over 1 million, the first one, and they considered that a success.
Absolutely, of course, because you're just throwing it out there. Anything over, whatever, your magic number is, you're making money off of. There's 375 million people in the U.S., and so they got 0.001% of the entire population to get one. So while they'll make money on it, and while it's a success, and while it's still growing, I mean, 3D TVs at one point were the hot thing, and they were the number one selling electronic at one point over a couple of seasons. So. I don't think it's because of the PS5. I think it's just because it's virtual reality. And by the time you get a PS5 and you get an extra couple controllers and you get this headset and everything else, you're looking at, somebody's mortgage payment for the couple of months. So I don't think it has anything to do with whether or not you have a PS5.
Ender, your take on this. Buy or sell, it's not going to be successful because you need the PS5.
I mean, I'm selling it because where the hell am I getting a PS5? Like, even if I wanted to, I mean, shit, even if I wanted to use it, I'm going to be able to buy the VR set before I can get a PS5. So I'm going to be sitting here with my goggles on, just looking around like, oh, it's a black room. I can just turn my lights out for that. Like, I mean, until they can figure out their supply chain for PS5s, having an exclusive thing that only works on a PS5 seems kind of stupid. Like, make more PS5s before you make the VR headsets. You can't. I mean, come on.
Snapping your take on this.
Hey, I'm in the same boat, man. You just gotta get rid of those headsets to begin with, man. VR is so terrible. If it was like, we had movies like 20 years ago that had all these like super futuristic looking VR things, I was like, man, I can't wait. They're like, man, it's like 5 years out though. And it's like, cool, I can't wait till then. 20 years later, we got like this shitty looking Minecraft world that we're looking around in, and people are using it for meetings now. I don't, like he was saying, that there's not enough PlayStation 5s out there right now unless you got a baby mama willing to buy you one for $1,500 on the black market. That's the only time you're going to be able to get one of those. And they're just a terrible product in general. VR is not my jam. And you have all these parents. I mean, if they time it right, where it was like, around the Christmas time, holiday time, where they can suck a bunch of parents into buying their kids love, then maybe. But, when it's away from Christmas like that, I just don't think they're not going to get that initial hit like they could have.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. So with that being said, we've got our first 2 eliminations as we go down to the showdown. And unfortunately, I'm going to say goodbye to Shadow and Snappin'. You guys just missed the cut. Don't go anywhere there because we're going to bring you back onto the end of the show, so still hang out. And we've got Bobber and Ender. Oh, is this Ender, have you won yet?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I won one.
Shit's rigged like the NFL.
Sorry, I can't find the mute button, but he's gone. All right, so the showdown, we're going straight into the first topic, and we are going to start with you, Ender. So CES, everyone knows what CES is, the consumer show that just came out, all the electronic stuff. How important is the CES show to the gaming industry? We know we have E3 and we've got all the PlayStation and Microsoft showcases and the PC showcases where they showcase games and hardware. But when it comes to CES, how important is CES to the gaming industry?
I think CES is very important to the gaming industry because what you end up having is your ability to create your partnerships and deals with the other hardware and things that you need for your games to work. Like, I could build my hardware and things like that, but getting with the TV companies, getting with the sponsorships, getting people to back that and put money into the game, especially for some of the smaller gaming companies that are out there, different controller companies, different small game studios. It's a networking event. So anyone that's in the technology field, it's important to be there. Are you going to see all of the amazing things for gaming? No. But are there going to be some backdoor deals that are made and relationships made in order to get some of these, single A titles into the AAA money? Possibly. Like, that's why they're there. That's what they're looking for. So anyone in technology needs to be there, including gaming.
All right, Bobber, your take on this.
So I was actually fortunate enough to be able to attend CES about 4 years ago. And this is when I knew that the esports was going to be taking off, is because the NBA Players Association had an entire section of the venue roped off, and they had NBA players playing different video games with regular fans, and then they also had a Forza tournament as well at CES. And when I saw the production and everything, that's when I realized that CES is the biggest underground influence on gaming that's out there. Because you're absolutely right. All of a sudden, these people started paying attention. There's money there, the new technology, as Snappin likes to refer to, the nerd community is there. And let's be honest, it takes the nerd community to get partnered up with the cool people at the front in the suits and the athletes and everything else to really make something amazing. And that's what goes on at CES every year. Is you've got all of these major power players, you've got all this money, you've got everything from BMW and their color changing cars to Samsung and their folding laptops with dual screens built into them now, all on display. And that is really what starts to drive the creativity and really starts to push these gaming and these studios forward.
All right, first topic, I'm going to award the point to Bobber. So we move on to the next one, maybe the last topic, Betty White. And we'll start with you, Bobber. Betty White, is she the biggest pop culture icon of the last 100 years?
Are we talking about she survived the 100 years, or are we talking
in general,
about
a pop culture icon? Is she? Would you say she's the biggest pop culture icon?
I would say she is, only because she spanned so many generations. Betty White has been a badass since she was young, and she continued to be badass. She was never involved in a scandal. She was never involved in any sort of drama. She was a part of one of the we talk about the cutting edge shows with Bob Saget. The Golden Girls talked about stuff that was never on TV. They had African American characters being prominently shown on that, and she was a part of that. She is a massive cultural icon. She reinvented herself numerous times throughout the year. She kept up with the times, and you can't say that her career wasn't amazing because she's got hundreds of credits in her IMDb. She is the cultural pop icon of our generation, and frankly, for the last 2 or 3 generations.
Ender, Betty White, is she the biggest pop culture icon of the last 100 years?
I mean, the fact that I still know who she is and know what she's done and all of that, only being on the tail end of most of her career. Like, I didn't watch any of that stuff. I watched reruns of Golden Girls with my mom and things like that. So I've watched it through there. And I think the amazing thing about her, and a lot of her peers didn't do it, and she did, is we went through the craziest technological advancement. Think of the last 100 years for her and the changes from where she started to now, and she stayed with it the whole time. She didn't just be like, screw this, I don't like this, I don't want all this stuff. She stayed with it. She just kept going, and would pop up in all kinds of movies, and I'd be like, oh, it's Betty White. Like, it's amazing that she did all of that. From Golden Girls. I mean, she was on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. Like, I mean, you're going all the way back to shows like that, and it's just, she is you say of generation, but of the century. Like, I mean, if you're going back there, she made it through all of that and all the change, and by all means, she deserves everything she got. And like Bobber said, never a scandal. Like, that's amazing for that long.
That's tough to do. I'm going to give the point to Ender on that. A few more points than you, Bobber, that he made there towards the end. So that brings us to our final topic. I know you guys are sports fans. We tend to stay away from sports, and we're mainly gaming and pop culture. But the NFL / fixed. A lot of people are always talking about the NFL being fixed. And, of course, on Sunday night with the Raiders and Chargers playing, man, were the pitchforks out as a tie, got them both into the playoffs. A lot of people thought they were going to just kneel. They played it out, and as you could see, a lot of the end of the game seemed to be, are they trying? Are they letting the Chargers score? Is everyone actually hitting as hard as they can? So your guys' take on, do you think the NFL is rigged at certain points in this? We'll start with you, Ender.
No. The NFL is not rigged. One, if it was rigged, it'd be the first time in American history that anyone's kept a cover up going and a conspiracy at that point. Like you would know, it'd be exposed, who would there. And, you have to go back to like ties like kissing your sister. These are professional athletes out there. Like, I'm not going to kneel the ball when I have a chance to win the game. I'm going to go for it. And I'm glad they did, because if they had kneeled the ball, I'd be more in line to just collusion between the two teams of like, hey, we're not going to keep playing. We're just going to let the time run out. That's there. Now, do I believe there's bad actors inside of the organization and people that are trying to do that underneath? Yes. I mean, I think every single sporting venue that is bet on in Vegas and has the amount of money that's moving through it is going to have someone trying to get the upper hand. Just look at boxing.
Well, the owners it's clear the owners can't pay for win, or your Redskins or Washington football team or whatever they're supposed to be called would have more wins.
Well, I mean, we just got to work on the penny savers, all right? We haven't had them in a while. So I just don't think – there's no way that it's rigged, but there are bad actors out there that would try to do something like that, and that's been throughout sports and history.
Bobber, your take on this?
Never mistake incompetence for intentional problems. And, the biggest challenge is everyone that goes, oh, it's rigged. You know what? I don't know how many people watching or have actually been on the sidelines of an NFL game. It is so much faster than it looks on TV. And for a referee to miss a call, I always kind of give the benefit of the doubt to the referee because these guys are superhuman. They're running 4.3 speeds in pads. They're colliding. They're running through multiple checkdowns. I mean, it's just the list of stuff goes on and on. The other thing is we all need to remember at this game, the reason why this was a play-in game was because these two teams basically suck. And because they suck, it's like two sucky people getting into a fight. You just kind of sit there and go, well, maybe one of them will land a lucky blow. If they were really good, they would have already been in the playoffs. They would have had a winning record. Instead, it was a pillow fight between two teams that were trying to barely make it in, and it was just terrible football. But because it was the last game and it had huge playoff implications, and Big Ben, whether or not he's going to get his last playoff game, everyone's watching, and they came out and they watched a pillow fight. It was gross. Now, to Ender's point, I do agree. There are bad actors. NBA's had them before. They've had their cheating scandal. They've had the guys shaving points. But I don't think the NFL has the impact from the referees as much as an NBA, because the NBA referees can take out players with a couple of quick calls, where in the NFL, it's really a lot harder to be able to do that. So no, I don't think it's rigged at all. I just think it was really shitty football and everyone happened to be watching.
All right, so with his first win ever, we give the point to U.S. Bobber.
This show's rigged.
We definitely need to figure out a mute button to get you guys off. So thanks, Ender. We'll bring you guys all back on here in just a second after Bobber gets his moment in the sun. Go ahead, Bobber. Your rant, sir.
Oh, man. It's my moment in the sun. I think I'm just going to take a minute, relax, talk about No, really, it's I just want to kind of throw it out there with everything going on. I know we hear about it all the time. Be good to each other, take care of each other, make sure we're reaching out to people. Just had a memorial service for a good friend of mine and everything who sadly took his own life. Please reach out to people. I know it's a stressful time. I know it's winter time. We're not getting out as much. We're not seeing the sun. It's a lot of things are affecting us, but please, if you need to help, please reach out to somebody, a friend, family, loved one. You can reach out to me. You can reach out to any of these guys, and we'll be more than happy to chat with you. So in all seriousness, make sure you're taking care of each other. Make sure you're checking in on each other.
James?
Yeah, you got to
welcome back
that, Mike,
to the show, guys. I was trying to give him his time in the sun. So, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being in the show, Bobber. Congratulations again on your first ever win as you kick off with the 1-0 victory. We will be back in 2 weeks on Wednesday, we'll bring these 4 guys back as they'll continue to debate. We'll have new topics, and hopefully you guys will come out and watch us again. If you're watching on YouTube, please don't forget, hit the like button, subscribe, and of course, we're on twitch.tv, Last Choice Network, if you want to see us live every other Wednesday. So thank you very much, guys. Hope everyone had fun.
Hey,
Sorry,
hey,
snapping.
Nex, I'm gonna give you my address so you can send me over the belt, baby.
What belt? What belt?
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We're going to say goodbye. Thanks for stopping by, checking out Around the Discord. You can catch us Wednesday evenings on twitch.tv, Last Choice Network. Let us know in the comments if you want us to debate something in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.